Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I will be continuing my Building Newcrest series where we take all of the empty lots on Newcrest and build it into a playable town. So without further ado, subscribe if you enjoy and let's get into the video. Here we go. Today we are going to be building a restaurant for this Newcrest world. We're going right next to the nightclub with it too. You got gym, nightclub, and restaurant all in a line. I have never made a restaurant in The Sims, so I left it the lot type as a diner because overall Newcrest is very like family and like starter centered, so I didn't think a super fancy luxurious restaurant fit. So I just went through to start with the requirements and I pulled out a couple of the things that are required because I've never used a lot of these objects before. I wanted to see what my options were and pull out a couple of the things that you definitely have to have. So I popped those there to start, and then we got to working on the actual structure of this restaurant. So you start with this nice little entryway, and then it's kind of just a box at the back. It's a square. Like the shape is not that interesting. Then I thought about putting kitchen in the middle and a bathroom on each side, but I thought it would be a better idea to put the bathrooms together. So we did that instead. So it makes it not quite a box, but almost a box. We're really not getting that creative with the shape on this one, but that's okay. And this is also a 2-story restaurant, so your Sims want plenty of space. So I put 2 patios down here with the idea of it having a couple little outdoor seating areas. And then I started messing with this, putting lights in first because I couldn't see anything. And then trying to find a counter that I could squish into this. I thought this was going to work, and then I decided partway through to change the color scheme, but I did put a little notebook on the counter for like any seating chart that they might have. I know it's all digital now in reality, but I didn't want to just put like the art tablet on there because Sims would steal it. At least the notebook they can't take because it's a clutter item. On this side, we have a bar. For now, it's white. That's going to change soon. I should have done the wallpaper first, but I didn't. So, I did use the dine outdoors, and I made them black, and then this is where I started changing the color idea. Thought about those windows, but back to the whole diner idea, and I liked these more industrial-looking ones that were a little open. Popped those in the kitchen as well, and then upstairs there's also that upstairs balcony is going to be another little eating area. So I try to do something fancy with the roof again. I guess I built these both on the same day, so I guess I was just feeling creative that day and I wanted to try something new. It did not work. It just looked weird, so I deleted them and went with a more traditional approach to this roof. It looks basic yet again, but you know, it works. It works well. A little window on each of those, and then change the roof to the little swoopy one and put some white trim on it, and I don't know why I decided to do white trim. I change it eventually. I wanted metal looking fencing, so that is the fence that I picked, and then I wanted this beefy column. I was going to go for the skinny ones, but I really like the fat columns, so we went for those instead. And now putting doors on the inside. The black doors on the inside also ended up changing the color scheme of this in my brain. Then here I was trying to find like a double push looking door that wasn't see-through and ended up just going with this sliding door from Snowy Escape and then putting the waiter stand right there. If you've ever been to like an Applebee's, this is what this kind of reminds me of. So Then we needed a lovely staircase to get up to the second floor, and I put a little fence around that because safety. Very important. The flooring is where the color scheme really started to change because I realized I had no idea what color I wanted it to be. So we have a black floor, and then I started to change the swatch of things, and the stands matched, and the bar worked well, and all that stuff as well. But then this dang counter, it just didn't work. So deleted that, started looking for a different counter. It is not. I tried to find a wood that matched, but we know how The Sims works. Woods never match, and it's so annoying. So I ended up just making the host stand black as well as that counter, and then the rest of it is brown. So here I wanted an accent wall, and I was trying to figure out what the accent color was going to be, and I decided to make it green. It was going to be red, but the nightclub was red, so we opted for that. And then there was not a green paint that matched any of these greens, so we went with brown, and then I do put the accent wall back in. So this ended up being a lot more moody. I carried the accent to the staircase, and then the accent from downstairs is the entire upstairs. For the bathrooms, do not ask me about why I picked this tile. I genuinely don't know. I was like, oh, it has green in it. Cool. And then just like moved on, and it stays. Like, that's the actual final wallpaper. It looks very interesting. It's different than this tile. I was trying to pick one, and I was like, oh my gosh, it matches the gray lines from the accent in there. So, I don't know. The chaos really just ensued. And then I decided that I should probably do the outside of this to figure out. And I looked at that, and I said, I want that to be brick. That's all I wanted. I just wanted it to be brick. I changed the trim to black and then added spandrels and was wondering why they looked so massive. Like, they're huge. I ended up going with these smaller ones, but they just look so huge, and I added a trim to that balcony as well to hide that little white strip. And then also decided that that upper patio should probably be covered because realistically, if it was uncovered, a lot of issues could happen. So I covered it. And then we start moving on to the kitchen a little bit. I debated putting 2 chef stations in there, but I didn't. And then just put a fridge and some counters for some extra stuff as well. I've never had my Sims run a restaurant. I don't know what they actually need in it to like really be successful. But they've got a sink, they've got 2 dishwashers, they've got the chef station, they have 2 extra counter spaces, a fridge, and a trash can. So I feel like they do have everything that they could need, as well as a sprinkler system. I got y'all, don't worry. No Sims will be dying in fires on my watch. I almost picked a green toilet. I decided to make it black instead. And then just went with a pretty basic sink. I feel like the wallpaper is kind of screaming in this room, so it works out fine to not have something else screaming at you. I popped some toilet paper in there, and then a green towel to finish it off. We really kept it going. So since the accent color is green, partially as a joke, I sized down the plumb bob picture and put it above each toilet. And that's the bathroom. Then I also thought that we could use some art in the entryway, and these really seemed like they would be in a diner to me, as well as these little historical pictures. So those are popped up there. I believe that is the only art in the entire build, because the accent wall is kind of like busy in and of itself. Now here, if you've ever been to like certain like small chain restaurants, you know they always have those dang blinds over the windows, and they're always broken and stuff, but I found them. The Sims like kind of has those stupid blinds, so we're using them. For tables, I started out with these glass ones, and then I delete them in a second because they didn't really fit the vibe that I was going for, and I had seen one in the restaurant stuff tab earlier. that I decided that I wanted to use instead. And it is the tall bar stool table from Tiny Living that I genuinely didn't know existed. And I love it. It's so cute. But the bar stool tables, I don't think they show up under normal dining tables, or if they do, I've just ignored it all these years. But of course, it did not come with a matching bar stool, so we had to wing it in that respect. I just went with some black bar stools for them. It's pretty muted, but you know, it works. I carried those same tables outside and up to this balcony. I do eventually check to make sure that these are lined up with the windows, because they're not right now. Now they are. Look at that. Plants. Upstairs, I went for the little succulent things, and then we have my favorite plants. I love them. I put 4 of them down there. If you couldn't tell how much I liked them before, you can tell now. I think they have been in almost every single build. So for this, I wanted to put like the pre-made situation up, but they didn't have like matching ones, so I ended up just deciding to make it myself. But deciding on the booths was a process, because I started with these, but then I liked the other ones better, so I went up and I found them. I thought about making them green, but then remembered what the wallpaper is. This is currently sticking out of the back wall because I didn't know how the placement of them worked. I figure it out eventually, don't worry. They don't stay in the wall forever. But I put a corner one in each booth and then just popped a table at each of the corner ones to start because that was easier for me to figure out. And then I put the other tables in front of the other ones. This is where I realized that they were sticking through the wall. So I go and I fix that one as well. So now none of the booths are floating above the restaurant. They're working. I tried to angle one of them here, but then when the table snapped to it, it was at a completely different angle. So instead, I opted to put one there, and I deleted the one in the corner, but I do bring it back and then just move these other ones over a couple. There's a ton of seating in this. And then I looked at the walls, thought about putting something on it, and opted not to. So now moving outside here, I just put some basic stone going out to the front, and then I popped some trees out front as well, just in a bunch of different sizes. Out back, I end up going with an absolutely massive pine tree, and then also this tiny, the little basic looking tree, in my opinion. Now I'm just going around and putting dirt around everything to make it look a little nicer, a little more realistic. And two, when I get to the back here, I looked back there and I was like, dang, that seems pretty empty. What would a restaurant be missing around the back? And I was like, a door in the kitchen to the outside that I just squeeze into that tiny little gap. I just squeeze it in. It's not even with the windows. I don't care. And I wanted to put a dumpster back there because I felt like that just made sense. So that is our Newcrest restaurant. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you all next time.